What did you learn?
Yeah, I know it, right?
How was it?
Oh, sorry.
Sorry, something clarified. Clarifying. What kind of listening was that?
Concerning internal one,
Uh-huh.
to clarify to myself.
What it is like? Yeah, what's it about? Okay, yeah.
How it reflects from
Yeah.
someone's work.
Did you feel people were listening to you in a special way? Like,
You were
Yeah.
all focused.
how did it feel? What was special about that?
Well, that somebody is interested in
Yeah.
what you were talking.
We have something in common. Like
Yeah,
we're
we have-
on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
Like this person is the part of my life.
Yeah,
It
it's
totally
something.
understands what you're talking about.
Oh, this problem has the same problem. Oh, yeah, I'm not alone in this world.
Each one had kind of inner voice. Oh, okay, that's what happened.
Yeah, or
Because well, like all moms are all busy people, so we're trying to make this balance work and life, and it's hard to do it more.
So basically, do I hear you correctly that this simple exercise help you to? It's like there's more connection during conversation. There's also what I was observing the intonations and the emotions, and it was interesting to see that. I guess when you would come to this focused listening, sometimes the pace and like the noise would like go slow and go down, and there would be like smiling and just like open gestures and like leaning towards each other, things like that. So it's
We
really
would see each other with the sun. We missed each other. And stadium.
So yeah. In any case, these three types of listening, you can, if you Google it, if you would like to come back to that, of course you will have the presentation, we will send it, yeah?
Really?
Yeah,
Sure. That's why.
Yeah, and then just keep in mind that you can always use it for the benefit of the particular situation in the class or in the family, and they also have this воспитание в стиле coaching for children or not, you know? It's like really a lot of things to kind of grow up personally and professionally. And another slide is related to that. We're not going to be practicing it, but I'll just tell you for your information how important it is. Well, this question that I have, how do I sound here? Again, it's there's a really cool video on YouTube by Marina Targakova called «Женская магия», часть первая. It's classic. Exactly. No, come on. It's okay. It's not, you know. And she's basically telling you about one qualification that a woman has to do, which is like gentle voice. And then she gives an exercise of people who don't know each other in the group, just in the room, to get acquainted and to introduce yourself, and then you give an honest feedback to another person. How does she sound? So the question, like the answers were like, I always teach others how to leave. I'm an ambulance, or I'm head of panic department. And basically, it is so. So I will have a small like task for you. Of course, it's not appropriate. Just ask your friends, relatives, and people you care for to give you an honest feedback. How do you sound?
Oh, that's cool.
Like really? Because
Already gave you from like school teacher today.
Sorry, Nada.
Okay, that's
Honest.
really nice.
Yeah,
I
because-
didn't mean it, sorry.
it gives a little bit of, you know, sometimes you don't
Realize it.
Yeah, you need someone else to
Tell you about
tell
this,
you about this with care. So the next slide is going to be, well, I would like also to say that the sound, as they say, it's the greatest power because you can, if you learn something interesting today, the only way for you to internalize it, to digest it, to keep it like as your knowledge is to tell someone. Not in a written way, but verbally. Like, so sound is about, you know, is something that really matters. And if you don't do this, then first they use like 20%, then 30%, and then 50% of the information. You all know that. So please share for the sake of, I mean, even from the linguistical point of view, you know? Why not? And the next slide is about what I call secret intonations that transform people's lives. It's from a book of Marilyn Atkinson. She's a famous coach from, I think she's from Canada. So basically, we're not going to be training it now, because I need some other things to tell you about. But let's keep in mind that there are different modes of intonation which you can use in the class, in family, with your friends, which help to reach a certain result, I would say. Yeah?
I found the one of warrior.
For me? Like, are you looking at me?
I just thought about when we were warriors when we were going to another room.
So look, magician. The tone of voice is optimistic, strategic and open. It appeals to competencies, shows enthusiasm, energy and curiosity. And this is when you ask a lot of questions. The underlying idea is that you can do it, you have the resources. Let's think of the steps. Easy. Yeah? So a true friend supports self-respect of the person in view of certain challenges. So it's basically about giving unconditional support for someone, even if that someone did something wrong. And the tone of voice is warm, open, polite, and quite tender. The third one is more about, someone who believes in you so much, but it's all about your strengths that is revealing itself, and you being like a holistic person. And you can use a lot the first and the second in the class. Yeah, third one is also possible. With warrior, you should be careful because this tone is needed to survive in to survive in difficult situations.
It's warrior tone.
It's about acting now, deciding now, focused and straightforward. Yeah, and so because some people do use this tone of warrior a lot towards themselves, then they feel a little bit like if they were like beaten up or something. I mean, this is understandable. Please, you can find you can adjust the way you sound in the class, your intonation in a particular situation to which one would be most appropriate, as easy as that. And sometimes if someone is completely like lost or whatever, demotivated or whatever in the class, maybe a warrior tone would do. But then you need to get into more details and maybe learn a bit more about that person. Because some people get motivated when someone is harsh to them, and then again, this harshness is with care. Yeah. So if you want, I could send you. If you are interested, I could send you the examples of questions that you can put practicing each of these tones. Because this is it's a lengthy kind of thing to do it now. They are in Russian, but I'll just I'll think how it's best to do it in PDF or just send you the link to this book. It's really cool because there's nothing more that empowers so much as the right question. And this is an art and a skill, and you can practice that. And so, coming to this communication with people and just being able to find common understanding, etc. This is something I really love, and this is not my invention or something. I found it in a book about the art of presentation. Because you have to, it's additional qualification. As soon as you talk to the audience, it's just additional qualification, no matter how good you master English or coaching. And I felt so relieved when I sort of realized that it's as easy as that and as exciting as that. Because, of course, we want to feel significant. But this is not about manipulation. Like, this is not about understanding or giving flattering and stuff like that. This is about partner-to-partner communication, as we discussed. Yeah? And everyone wants to feel significant in the class. And if someone is почемучка, которая задает вредные вопросы, one will let him speak up in English, in proper English. Play around that and do some. Ask questions or give the space to that person to empower him or her to feel significant. People are appreciated. Yes, that's sometimes about the results. You can have someone in the class could be good at reading and doing all this, written exercises, but not so much as a good speaker. So, for instance, as I recall what the teacher did in my class, he he suggested her to prepare every single day a short information about the country.
Yeah.
So she became an expert in history of the country like 3 weeks later. And she felt appreciated. And although her spoken language was not that good, she continued, to go with us to the second level because she felt that she can do this. Yeah, this is a kind of a nice way, to empower. Yeah, because she needed that person needed that information, this knowledge of history for her future life. And I mean, we all want to feel that other people like us. On the other hand, of course, it's not possible for a teacher to be liked by everyone, and this is kind of not what we really aim. But if you are honest, and if you really like what you do, and I think like-minded people are here, even if it's okay if he or she doesn't like you. It's just the fact that if we won't forget these simple things. And if I will not be able to give you value, information, to appreciate the fact that we communicate, to say how great you are when you are great, and this has nothing to do with putting up something, making up something. It's not gonna be efficient. It's not gonna be as fun. It's not going to be like real. So why fake up life if we can enjoy it as much as we can using this for key things. And then the fourth thing, of course, is sometimes we avoid work, and when people don't want to do something in the class, we can call it optimization of resources. No, I mean seriously, you can guide them in the best meaning of this word to optimize the level of energy they put to studying language. For instance, everyone knows that everyone has his or her characteristic feature. For instance, I need to write down things to memorize it. I love to write down things in foreign language. It helps me a lot in everything, in speaking better, in understanding text better, in memorizing words. Someone else would need to do the audio, or to read, etc. Just help the person to find that something that's his or her that is a must for that person to be able to master the language and optimize his work. Then why not things like that matter? And I think the next slide, this is top of the top. Who do you focus on when you're in the class? Yourself. Oh my god, I have a plan and they don't want to follow my instructions, and we have this and this and that, and they're kind of like, how do I look like? How do I spend too much energy on that? Or do you focus on the audience?
No, the audience.
Yeah. And I really love this in Russian it's like забудьте о себе полностью. ZOSP. That's basically the first time I did a more or less decent speech was exactly when I followed this rule. And this is so, I don't know, it's very empowering. The people, you can't fake it, people feel it immediately. And and I also like this. This is a pose, no matter whether it's yoga or anything else, we all need to avoid because that really doesn't add up to anything. We already discussed this slide about the change, right? So we don't come back to that. It's just important that the resistance to change should not be too high. And basically, yes, about this value and motivation, and you can use all we discussed today, anything we discussed today. And the key thing is to remember that, good provocation should be a caring one. So don't forget that, please. Then one more important slide about managing your energy, right? Because as I said, I got this email. How can you prevent the burnout and manage your energy better? And I really think there's one thing we need to distinguish. So firstly, you might be just a very busy person, and you have a lot of things to do in your agenda. This is not, this is fine, this is okay. So in this case, you optimize it. You know, just try to do something. And then in some other cases, it can be something that basically, for which you spend more energy, and I always forget the English word for that. Exhaustion. Something systemic negative that is happening, and you need to understand what it is, and you need to kind of neutralize it. And in this way, for instance, I don't know, you're harsh on yourself. Like you always criticize yourself after the class. You're never happy with yourself. It's just, it's your wavelength. This is your frequency. This is how you sound. And it requires a lot of energy. It can be anything. So in this regard, for instance, look at these things that are here on the list. Your personal rhythm of life. Of course, you can have like early morning classes, etc. Right? So take your time to understand when you're most efficient, when you're less efficient. How much time do you need for a break in between some time-consuming, energy-consuming projects? What is your ultimate speed, and how can you adjust your life to your speed if that's possible? Yeah. And the second item on this list, I really, really love it because they say that if you do this, the regime of the day is a proper one, is appropriate one. You can cure your diseases. You can become stronger, like psychologically and emotionally. And it basically means that you go to bed one day, and you wake up another day. So now going to bed after 12. 10 to 11 ideally. I mean, I know this is not realistic because we are all urban, people. But if something is like, if you find yourself in a difficult situation in life, like really, really, you don't have enough energy. This is the thing that can help you. Or you're undergoing a emotional challenging period. Just go to sleep between 10 and 11. I'm telling you. I used this myself when I did, back 2 years ago, I had a corporate job, and in the midst of my down, because it was related to, the job was related to international affairs, etc., it was crazy in the office, so I was smashed by the end of the day. So I would just go to bed early and wake up early. And in a week, I felt like a normal person again. So this is, I would say, of course it's not an emergency instrument, but I mean, let's be realistic. So you know now the effect, like what it can do for you, and if things are really, really, you can't manage them in any other way, just don't forget about this regime. Then trust and gratitude is about like more esoteric stuff, but it's also it relates to this frequency, and the wavelengths on which we kind of function in the world. And I have never encountered a single happy person who doesn't appreciate, enjoy, and trusting life. No. I had once a very tough coaching session for myself as a professional because the person was not easy to establish rapport, like communication. And after this session, I asked myself, why? I mean, why did it all happen? Why a person like that would come to me? Because normally, other people are attracted, And then that person said something really telling at the end of the coaching session. We talked about loving yourself and appreciating yourself and believing in yourself and stuff like that, but also about trusting life. And he said, откуда же ему взяться доверию-то этому? And then he left. And then I felt like, oh my God, it is so tough to live life without trust. Like I literally could feel how he felt when he talked to me. And it was not empowering at all. This is a bit philosophical, but if you're interested, you can listen to Oleg Gadyetsky again about that, about the trust and gratitude. And these are if you want to be professionally successful, that's the thing you need to do. I mean, literally, honestly, seriously, these are these laws in life that exist as other physical laws, it's just we don't realize them. And they are also very empowering. And I know some people do have doubts when they start something new professionally. It's difficult for them to trust that they have the talent. And they just shouldn't, because it's my favorite topic. I need to do something, a different workshop than that. But what wonderful things happen when people trust in the talents that were given them by God. So number 4 is digital detox. We discussed it I think in the break. Just when you realize that something is wrong, just switch it off and remember that it's always beneficial to work online and to live offline. Then a little bit of time management, analyzing the time eaters, what is eating your time. At Pomodoro, you know this? Yeah, it's like I don't know the details, but it really helps me when I do the presentations. You put the alarm on 25 minutes, and you can't. Yeah, you concentrate on that, on one particular thing for 25 minutes. It helps. It's just so easy and efficient. And in terms of this yoga thing, another idea, you know, in yoga there are two different modes in which we function. It's either relaxation or concentration. If you feel you're too concentrated, you know, it's time to switch. And it's also an art to be able to switch quite not often, like fast. Yeah. And also, if you feel that there's a lot of internal dialogue in your head and you are tired of that, do 1 hour of silence per week. It's called mauna. But you don't do, you know, you don't type a week. I mean, I'm not telling a day. It's like a week. If you feel that, oh my God, there's so many thoughts, and I'm constantly on the rush somewhere, and I need some time for myself, just to, you know, to relax and to, you know, to get down to be able to hear myself again, because now all I'm here is the, you know, the buzz of life. So you get down to somewhere where you can sit in an hour, not in a, you can even do this in the park or anywhere, just without talking to anyone, without reading anything, without listening to music, without writing, without like anything, like no SMS, nothing. It works super cool.
Per week or per day?
Try to do
Well, I
that
mean,
3 days.
my yoga teacher says it should be 1 hour per day, but hey, come on. Is it realistic? Is it doable? Is it something that is going to be most efficient for you? And to me, this really actually helped to produce great ideas for my work. Because every time, 45 minutes, I would spend there in the park, 3 great ideas would come up to my mind. I would write them down because and yes, exactly. And after 1 hour, I was relieved and happy again. It was. I mean, I'm telling you, it repeated for like 4 or 5 times this last summer. So I was like, this is a really cool instrument for producing, like, you know, for developing your, you know, creativity, for thinking of the new ideas for your profession. And there was something else I wanted to. Yeah, that's a bonus. This is a great test for you, which you can do. We can do it now, not maybe all tests, or we can do it at home, whatever you prefer. And the idea is that you analyze 4 spheres of your life to bring more clarity and more energy into physical environment, health and emotional balance, money and relationships. It usually is, I mean, people like this test because it gives you specific information about you, you know, and there's nothing better than just some, you know, general instrument or etc. So this is for you in a way a roadmap to, you know, to understand where you are and to improve something. So I think to be to be more like consistent and to wrap it up, because I know what's going to happen after this test. If you don't like your result, it's going to be a little bit down. Then I'm going to ask. I will have to ask you what will be these 3 steps that you undertake during the next 3 days to improve your result. So if I can kindly ask you to write this. Write this question down on this test and do this like a small, like a little homework, because it's really, really fun. It will show you where you are, and it will show you the number of scores. The maximum is 100.
So we can do this test from time to time, right? Like every 3 days?
Not every 3 days.
Okay, or after we make some steps.
Like once a month, a couple of months. So basically, let's talk about what's in there. There are statements according to each sphere: physical environment, health, money, and if it's really, really true for you, you mark it. if it's not always true, be honest with yourself. Don't check it out.
Okay, so even if you have the slightest doubt, better not to.
It's not the doubt, it's like, okay, so I rarely use caffeine and you drink coffee 3 times a day. You know, today I had 1 coffee, but it doesn't really mean that, yeah, this is not quite honest, so I don't mark it, you know.
Okay.
So we do it now?
I don't know, how do you want? Because you have, yeah, and
Just to
Now
get
we
it through.
reduce too long, right?
I mean, just to
you
get
can,
1
let's
2 minutes
skip first part quickly. If everything is clear to you. Like to be, just to make me understand that, to make sure that you understand every, you have no questions. For instance, there might be something that is not,
Should we put some kind of tick?
tick if it's true. If it's not always true, don't put anything. And sometimes, for instance, if my car is always in good condition and you don't have a car,
So
for the sake of this test, you still check it out if this is not related to you at all. Not because you don't take care of your car, but because you just don't have it. And that's the test.
and it should be.
Not
Yeah,
to lose the
if you don't have, like, if the situation is not about you, not because you're like, you know, lazy or don't take care of your car, but because the car is just not there, you still take it off.
Oh, okay.
Because it's not related to you.
And the score will be
The score will not
will be
reflect
a
it.
minus. but
That's the
it's
only
not
thing you need
your.
to, that's the only trick in this test.
Okay,
Yeah.
but you should tick it.
Yeah, it should
Am I
be,
right?
like you don't have a car, they talk about the car, you take